Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM20. It's Champions. We're on episode 32. We just reeled in the breakaway. We're here on stage 4 of Terreno Adriatico, and with 2 climbs to go, it's basically going to come down to a sprint today. Peloton back up at 157 with the addition of the breakaway riders. Pace hasn't been too light, so there are riders off the back, but it's really still a very large peloton. You can see 148 riders here, and all of my riders are still on the fresh side even after going over this penultimate climb. We'll set ourselves up to make a run in after that final one, but I think we're just set up for a sprint today, realistically. I don't need a sprint train over the next climb. We do need to up the effort to about an 86 to try to hold on, and we might need to use gel for, like, say, Black Panther, who looks like they may struggle. Of course, we still have most of this group on Fitness Peaks, and if you remember from last episode, we are dominating the standings, at least at this point here. And
it's
we
a
are
swift
struggling.
acceleration by Maximilian Schachmann.
We're seeing some attacks on the top, but I don't think we'll have too much of a problem pulling it back together unless we slip back too far. And at the moment, that does not seem to be the case. Yes, we go back, but it's 15K from the finish. What's going on YouTube? Oh, you're just... Uh-oh! Ooh, there is a split. There is a split. There we go. It's back together. Back together.
This time it could go all the way.
Counter-attack by Thibaut Pinot.
Back into the front group, but we will start pulling it back from the back end. So I have 4 riders here at the back, and then I have 3 riders at the front. So I'm going to start these 4 on a sprint train. So we got Cyclops group, Deadpool, Black Panther. Deadpool is the overall leader. Groot is the sprinter. So we're going to line that up, and then we have Black Panther and Cyclops. It would help if I set these to the standard 99 before I do too much with this. Okay, and then we'll get behind Cyclops. 99 and Black Panther. Black Panther, gel forward, and start bringing this up because there's another split. Now it's back together, but time to start working our way forward, setting it up for the sprint. I knew the climbs were short enough that we should be okay, and ultimately we are, though. Somebody is attacking off the front, so this is not the time to just slowly be making our way up, but it is the time that we need to make it quick. We're down to 8K. Okay, and we're going to restructure as we pull in these 3. We're going to bring them into the line. Well, you got Wolverine, you got Black Widow. Black Widow is hopeful for the GC, so we'll bring her onto the back. Wolverine, part of the strong lead out. And then Doctor Strange will jump in line as well. There you go. 99, because it's only 7K to the finish. Okay, Alaphilippe was the one rider who took off, and we bring him back in. 5K to go.
There are just 5 kilometers
That's gel
left.
time for everybody else. Okay, Cyclops going strong, going hard. 4K. Doctor Strange, you can start your push. Oops. We had 1 set at that 73K to go. Start your sprint, Wolverine.
And there goes the mad burst for
Okay,
the
under
final
2K to
sprint.
go. Pushing for the line. We've got some separation over those behind us. We're also out of energy to continue the sprint. So we've opened a gap over the field. Can we hang on to it as we fade? It looks like it's going to be a 1, 2, 3 group. Black Widow and Deadpool. We're just a little too strong because we split off the field. You can see Matthews, Pogacar, the only ones that were able to go with us for 4th, 5th. Separation. We'll see if there's a time gap there. Wolverine fades. But there you go. We further establish our front position. With a 23-second gap, everybody is given the same time. Go figure. Game always screws us on that one. 23 seconds is significant. It was not even just a few bike lengths. I mean, that was 10, 15 bike lengths between Pogačar and Hershey. That's a massive gap. It was not a sprint stage. It was a punchy stage. Hence I couldn't quick sim it. Otherwise I would have. Punchy stage. Well, anyway, we get the win. We get the 1, 2, 3. We just don't earn the half minute that we earned. After 45th place, though, there was a gap given back there, even though it didn't have anywhere near the same sort of overall time gap. But we're looking pretty damn solid at the top. Deadpool, Black Widow, Wolverine, Doctor Strange, 1, 2, 3, 4. Evenepoel at 5th. Groot and Cyclops 6th and 7th. So we have 6 of the top 7 in the standings. Holy cow. This race is not over yet. That was just stage 4. It's the decisive stage 7 at Paris-Nice, stage 8. A little bit punchy, shouldn't affect the times much. So today is really going to decide this one. Hulk does lead this race overall, but it is still a tight contest. We're not dominating in the way we're dominating Treno Adriatico, though this is our much stronger team of the 2 that we brought to this race instead of that one. So interesting enough that we're seeing quite a battle. Of course, there are some better riders at this race as well. So 130 in the peloton. There's already quite a few riders out the back from that first climb. The breakaway had a few too many strong riders, and so peloton was chasing pretty hard. A few of them came back to the peloton. That helped, and otherwise the 15 at the front have been holding 3 to 3.5 minute gap since the top of the first category climb back at the start of the stage. Down to 121 now in the peloton, and we get through it. Nebula a little tired, Ant-Man's a bit tired, and a little fatigue kind of up and down the squad, but overall they're doing fine, and they will recover. Gap right back out to 3.5 minutes, so we really need to keep an eye on that. We might need to be involved in that chase, but at the moment there are lots of individuals from a few different teams that are committed to that pole. They've lost one rider, so they're down to 14 now. Little less firepower in that front group, and it's under 3 minutes. I'd be comfortable if it was at 2 by time we begin the climb. It's down to 240, and we're down to 101 in the peloton, so actually we're putting some hefty pressure on. We're also down to 40k, so I need to get somebody going back to get water. Ant-Man's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and send them. Down to 98, chasing those 14. Group getting smaller and smaller here. Ant-Man hopefully doesn't get dropped off as they get the water. They don't. They've made it through, but now can they do it without running out of energy? Because there is some undulation through here. We're nearly through all of that. This sprint point will kind of be that last bit. I think they're okay. Nearly there. Oh, one rider really blocked us off pretty hardcore there. Nebula, did you get Nebula? Yes. Okay, task done. Down to 67. Oh, Spider-Man goes down. 10th place rider, Spider-Man. That's it for them. They are done for the day. Auto. So we lose one key rider on that fall. 66 chasing 14. It is under the 2 minutes. Down to 1.5 minutes actually. So we're looking good there. That was our solo riders. We still have our 3 riders offering protection. And then we still have our 3 riders that are in really good shape as we go to head to the base. Nebula is the most tired. We're going to go ahead and gel up now, and then Ant-Man and Iron Man will both get their gel soon. I don't think any of those 3 are going to last terribly long, and we're going to be down to 3 riders in a short little bit. This is going to be a tough climb. 18 kilometers to go, and we're about to head up. What do we have? A 17k climb at 6.2%. 9.3 max, so it's not too steep at any one point, but that's overall steep for a long period of time. Front group already split in half. That's going to make catching them that much easier, but we're seeing a big push here. Is this leaders? It's Sosa, Almeida, Andrade, 7th, 14th, and 20th overall. That's not us to respond. Hagita, 8th. What are those gaps like? Just over a minute, 42 seconds in one case. That could be up to us to chase that back. I don't want it to be up to us, but I don't see anybody else coming forward to respond. No, nobody else is going up. That is going to unfortunately have to be us. So we're going to get led out by Thor and Gamora. And then we have Ant-Man with a little bit of energy left, and Iron Man. And Nebula is just going to give me her little acceleration to get us up to speed, and then Iron Man's going to almost immediately take over. Okay, Iron Man.
Only a few
Your
riders
turn.
are capable of following the very fast
Sucks that we
pace
lost
up front.
Spider-Man. We're down to 40 already, but that's partially because 10 riders just went clear. We are seeing a response now from others, and they've brought it back. We're also down to 8. However, they haven't really
There's
brought
a
it
few
back,
riders
and
jockeying for position at the front.
as aforementioned, those 3 were not going to last long, and the Iron Man already faded. I missed that one. We lost a little ground on that, lost a couple bike lengths. Alright, on to Gamora, on to our better climbers, so we don't need to climb quite at the pace. Down to 29 in the peloton. There is a split, but we're immediately got it covered off. And we can back off a bit. And let's see where we're at. Up ahead, Hagita and Almeida have continued on. This is all breakaway. 7 of the 8. The 8th being Gogol, who's been dropped. And then 2 that are away. So yes, we are still doing some chasing. But we've got 12K to go for just 3 riders. So no, we are not going to push a crazy tempo. Down to just 17.
10 kilometers to the finish
Gamora,
line.
I think 80 is just fine because those 2 aren't going anywhere. We've got it covered. Down to 15, by the way. And there you go, we've brought them back. Down to just a few riders at the front. Down to 8K. Hulk is doing okay. Thor is not doing too well. Let's go ahead and gel up for Thor. Down to 11. Down to 6K. Gamora is done. We're going to go ahead and go with Thor now. Down to 75. I want Gamora to try to get onto the back. So only 12 riders. Now 9 riders. So we are doing enough to destroy the field. That's nice. And Hulk is still looking good, but it's 5K that they're going to end up going solo. Let's gel up now. Do we attack? Why not? Let's see what happens. Though we are protecting a lead. So that's enough to have gone clear. So now we need to go at a pace we can hopefully handle. Thor was still leading the group. That's not a good thing. There you go. Gamora. And we very much left the group behind. We're at the front now with Vingegaard. 3K to go. I think we could handle about a 77 from here. Keep an eye behind us. We left Vingegaard behind, so Hulk now going clear. And now inside 2K to go. Let's go 75. Energy is low. And I think we're going to win this thing solo. It's like playing on easy while playing on the hardest difficulty. Feels like it. The way we're dominating races all of a sudden this season. 83 Mountain really helps. Comparatively to Rodriguez, Pavel Rodriguez, as we come up on the finish line. Go ahead and sprint it out, finish it. This is going to be a race win, by the way. Hulk takes the stage comfortably.
Waiting for the back markers, who appear to be fairly numerous in this difficult race.
There's the acceleration, the push for the line. Vingegaard took second. Battle for a 3rd spot on the podium. Mühlberger, Hagita. Good ride from Hagita to recover and get all the way back up in 4th place. Andrade slips to 8th. Those were the 2 that attacked early on. 10th for Thor. 12th for Gamora. They'll lose a little bit of time, but Hulk is comfortably planted at the top of the standing. Anyway, the level of dominance we have feels like playing on his easy difficulty. It's been so long since I've been that dominant, that easy to control and pick up wins. Wout van Aert all the way down in 16th, Carapaz 19th, Carthy 20th. You could see some really, really good riders completely missing out on that. Vlasov was down in 14th. Yeah, it doesn't feel like the hardest difficulty. We've got some pretty dominant attributes. But again, as I was saying, Hulk compared to Pavel Rodriguez, I'd still take Rodriguez over Hulk at this point in time, especially the time trialing ability advantage that Rodriguez has over Hulk. Hulk's a little bit better of a sprinter, but the sprint didn't matter on this one. We just straight up outclimbed everybody. But so much of that came down to dominant teammates, right? We were down to a peloton of less than 10 when Hulk attacked. And they had already taken their punishment to where nobody could respond. That's the opposite from what we're used to when it comes to Rodriguez. Teammates are gone. The other teams are attacking us, and they have energy to spare where we are down to the end. So teammate support, I think, might be the bigger role in this one. It's the balance of everybody being of a certain level, of a certain quality, not just that of our top climber and Hulk. Winning by over a minute and a half. It's been so long since I've seen that. Back on normal difficulty, you could do that occasionally. Well, no, sorry. I never played on easy. I guess on normal difficulty, I would do that fairly regularly once I really had a grasp for the game. Once I went to the third or second hardest difficulty, it became infrequent, and since going to the most difficult setting, it never happens. So this is a very rare feat. This might be the first time I've had that dominating of a victory. In the overall 3.5 minute cap for Hulk, so the win is secure. Thor just 2 seconds behind Hagita for the second step on the podium. On the podium nonetheless. Gamora is now 8th place. So far, a dominating performance in the Tirreno Adriatico with 6 of the top 7 slots, including the entire podium being ours. And then almost everybody, with that one exception being a minute or more behind. Well, it's been a really good race so far. However, we've got to try to protect, and the gap is suddenly coming out. So the field just sat up a moment ago. So Cyclops, let's go ahead and begin our pursuit. Let's get Deadpool to protect Wolverine, even though Deadpool is the leader of the overall. We are going to sacrifice a couple of those riders in that 6 of the top 7. We're going to try to get one for sure in Black Widow, but then we'll try to see how many more we can maintain at or near the top of the standings if we can, but ultimately it's going to come down to, wow, the gap's still going out. They're pushing that hard. Or Cyclops is that poor of a... No, they're not that poor of a climber. I'm not sure how Cyclops is struggling that poorly. The gap's going the wrong direction, yet they're riding at a 78. If they were a 50-something or a low 60s, I would get it, but a 71 base, a 69 today, mountain, and they can't even affect the chase at all. That was rough.
Now the guys up front are asking serious questions.
That really opened the gap. That added 3 minutes in just a handful of kilometers. And the rider we put to make that stop, 78 is what they're set to, and yet going nowhere. And we lose Doctor Strange here. That's going to hurt. So things are not looking good to start this stage in our bid to protect this position. Doctor Strange, leave this group behind. Don't pull them all back with you, please. And then see what you can do to try to recover. Going solo, yeah, out to 50 seconds behind us, so we're not worried about that. But we are well behind at the moment. The front group. Groot was the one that was protecting. Is Cyclops actually working? A little bit. Let's get Deadpool a rest again. So go ahead and replace that. And then we will take these 3 and make sure they aren't getting dropped while we focus for a bit on Doctor Strange trying to catch back up to the group. Not necessarily worried about the position in the overall, because again, we have 6 of the top 7. It's about keeping somebody there at the end of the day. Black Widow's the somebody that we ride for, but then beyond that, there still could be others. We covered a lot of gap here. And we found ourselves a group. Let's go ahead and leave you on auto. I'm not sure they're going to make it back, though. 80k to go in the stage. We do need water. Doctor Strange immediately got themselves water as soon as I put them on auto. And we'll go ahead and fetch water. 97 left in the peloton. And Doctor Strange went from just behind the group to almost 4 minutes down. So yeah, I don't think they're going to make it back. So we've lost one rider already. And then we ended up with a huge gap to the break. But then the break shattered. There's only 4 riders left. And they're down to 2.5 minutes. So no longer a worrying prospect as Cyclops continues that chase. Brings it back down to 2 minutes. We won't need to worry about this as bad as we go through the next climb. Gel up. Cyclops will be done. They'll be dropping back to Doctor Strange before long here.
There we go. That's 2/3 of the race behind us.
Oops. Goodbye, Cyclops. See you later. It's been nice knowing you. And that'll bring us down to, well, really just 4 in the group because Black Panther is about to expire as well.
The lead over the pack is dwindling.
Got to keep an eye on that gap, make sure it doesn't suddenly go out again, otherwise we'll have to put another rider up front. It has opened to a minute 50 again. So they have already added half a minute and they're doing it. They're doing it again. Just 99. Go as fast as you can, please. Gotta keep an eye on that gap, make sure they don't get away. For now, Black Panther has no energy, so they honestly can't climb very fast, but they'll climb as fast as they can. I think we can allow it get to maybe 3 minutes at most. Front group split. Is that because they're attacking the KOM, or are they just that out of energy?
There's an attack in the
Could
group
be.
at the front.
It is up to 3 minutes though, so Black Panther's done. Set them to auto. Cyclops, did I already do that? I did. And we're down to 4 riders. This is getting dangerous.
They really are moving.
By time Groot got pedaling, they added another half minute. They nearly reached 4 minutes. The dangers of having to control the race. Seriously, this is rough, and it's not a position I'm used to being in. Not for a long time. Like I was just saying a little bit ago, since going to the hardest difficulty, you're always on the back foot. You're always fighting. Even when you lead, even when you get wins, you're still pulling from the back. You're still struggling through. Okay, those 2 got dropped, along with many others. 53 left in the peloton. And we've brought it back down. Okay, Groot pulling it back pretty well here. The overall race leader sacrificing this late in the race, but for good reason. They're not a big climber. This isn't going to be their day. They've worn the jersey up till now, but their teammates are the favorites. But we're inside 2 minutes again to the front 3. 1 rider split off. That gives them less firepower as we go forward. And we're definitely going to have to sprint train the final climb. We have a sprint stage following this one, and then a short 10-kilometer time trial, damn near prologue, to finish this race off. So today really is the decisive one. Groot, go ahead and gel up. Keep that pressure on. We brought back the 1 rider. I never saw him come back, but we must come around a corner, and there they were. Minute 50 to the front 3. And we're chasing them down pretty well. Now our other 3 riders are all fresh. All have their gels. And we're almost to the base. So let's set this up. Black Widow is going to follow. Is it Deadpool or Wolverine? Oh, definitely Wolverine. Then Deadpool. Then Groot. And let's just get on with the program. We're going to turn this corner and start going uphill. The official climb does not start for a little yet, but let's see if we can continue our dominating performance here at Paris-Nice and Torino Adriatico. Paris-Nice is taken care of. It's done. We've won. There's one little punchy stage, but we're going to bypass that in favor of what's to come. Groot has sacrificed their 6th place. Now it's going to be Deadpool to sacrifice their overall lead. 11.5K though. I got to get through 3 riders over 11.5K. So we're going to lead this out, but we don't need to push crazy hard. 64 left in the peloton. There's our 3 riders. So we've successfully nearly brought that one back. 10.2K, 1,200 meters of climbing on Monte San Vicino. 7.5% average gradient. You can see others are actually pushing a little harder than us at the moment. It's okay as long as we stay near the top. Now 8 kilometers. Just a few riders dropped so far.
The pack is slowly whittling away the lead.
We do not have a Hulk here, but we can't afford to slip back too far. So Deadpool is going to have to go harder. Deadpool just keeps slipping further back. Really surprising. I mean, it's a 74 mountain. It's not that bad, but it's bad enough. Oh, come on, come on. Don't get... You got plenty of room to go around that rider. Plenty. That was one of the breakaway riders drifting backwards, and Deadpool just hit the brakes instead of using the bike width either side to comfortably go around. 6K to go. Deadpool needs to recover here and get us back towards the front. I don't like how far back we've drifted. Down to 35. Here comes the first attack. Danny Martinez. And that's going to come with a response. Deadpool done onto Wolverine. Much better climber, so we're going to keep the same sort of pace going here. 4K to go. Down to 21 in the group. And we're at the back end of that. But it's time to... Oh, Black Widow struggling here. What's wrong, Black Widow? Why are you struggling so bad? Down to 18. Down to 15. Down to 13. And Black Widow is done. Down to Wolverine. 2K. One rider going clear. It's Pogacar. We're now sitting in 5th overall, but we're also down to 1K and going to have to hang on to Evenepoel, Dumoulin, and Moss. And Pogacar is going to go take this thing, but if we're close enough, remember we have a bit of an advantage overall. Wolverine out of energy now, inside 1K to go. Moss is going to ride clear. We're going to lose some time to Pogacar. We're going to lose some time to Evenepoel, and Evenepoel's a threat because Evenepoel's the one contained inside the top 7.
He managed the sprint like a master.
There's the finish.
He was certainly the fastest today.
Char, it's going to be over a minute. Moss just ahead. Moss isn't much of a threat. Evenepoel is, but we finished only slightly behind Evenepoel. We could be slipping to about 3rd place, so not totally dominant yet. But remember, the stronger team was at the other race, and as strong as our position was through these early stages, I knew when the climbing was going to come along, things are going to be a bit tougher. Surprised about Black Widow, though. 79 mountain, 80 resistance, and she just could not hack it today. She faded well before Wolverine. That part was a little disappointing, but we lost a rider to an early crash. I mean, they're still in the race, but lost them to the group. We lost our domestiques early to trying to keep the breakaway in check, and all of a sudden we were down to 4 riders for the final climb. So where on the last one the strength of the team made a massive difference, here the weakness of the state of the team and a weaker team combination, and you can see we're still vulnerable. We're not totally dominant yet. It's not time to just wrap this series up because, oh, we're winning everything. Woo! Hey, we haven't even been to a Grand Tour yet. We're not stopping the series yet, but you get where I'm going with that one. It's going to get boring if we win literally everything. So, 4th on the stage, 13th for Black Widow. Really disappointing, and we are definitely going to struggle to keep that place on top. I'm thinking 3rd place. Oh, Evenepoel gets 46 seconds. Really? That was a half minute over that last few hundred meters? Ouch. That hurt. And Dumoulin gets same time as Wolverine. We do slip to 3rd. Pogacar goes into the lead by a single second ahead of Evenepoel. Wolverine at 24 seconds down in 3rd place. Black Widow slips to 5th place in a minute 23. Deadpool slips to 14th. So, not dominating anymore. Still have that short little time trial to go. See if we can gain some sort of time back. It's going to be dangerous with Dumoulin behind us. Black Widow's a 75 time trialist, but a 67 prologue. This is going to be mostly prologue ratings. So, ouch. Wolverine's not great either, so they're both bound to lose time. Evenepoel's going to crush that one and take the win, I think. That's what me thinks. Here on the final stage, the key is to measure your effort and come out with the right balance. So we're going to try a 79 on a Cyclops that looks like maybe a hair too much. So we'll try a 78 on Black Panther. But getting that just right maximizes your pace, because if they run out of energy before the line, they lose a ton of time. If you go too easy and then just push at the end, yeah, you'll gain a few seconds there at the end, but overall your pacing throughout will be off and you'll lose time. So getting it just right, getting it just balanced is the key of your first riders. So Cyclops, you can clearly see that is not going to make it on that 79. Or 78 for Black Panther, though, so far looks really, really close. So I think a 78 might do it. We'll try a 77 on... You know what? No, we're going to try 78 again. I think 78 is going to make it. Cyclops, you can see, out of energy already. Heart rate's dropped. Can't push to the end. 17th so far. Yeah, not a good time. But yes, Black Panther on a 78 is just getting the job done here. 1K to go. Push, 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 push. And runs out right on the line. 4th place, 12 seconds. It's just about perfect. I actually kind of like seeing that right as you cross the line, seeing that heart rate drop. Because that meant you really did get every ounce of energy out of it. Doctor Strange here. That 78 also just a hair. Drops a little before the line. So 78 most of the way. 77 for moments. For just a little bit. Kwiatkowski so far 2nd quickest behind Jonathan Milan. Campenaert's up there. Black Panther now slips to 5th place. But definitely a solid time early on. Filippo Ganna goes to the top at 11:35. Oh, missed out on Groot here. Go 77. They look to be at a bit of a deficit. Can 77 save up some energy? It looks like it can. So there you go. 77 to conserve. 78 to be on the limit. 79 to go just a hair beyond. And now we know, and perfectly timed because we get into our top 3 riders. It's amazing how quickly we went from the 6 of the top 7 to just 3 in the top 14, just 2 in that top 7. And yeah, how far off we are. But, ooh, look at Deadpool's prologue, 82 and an 80 time trial. I mean, that's at least an 81 combination between the two. So I think we can just about push a 78 through parts of this. We did our 77. We can push 78 to the finish, I think. Maybe 79, 80 to the line. Got just a little bit to spare. Deadpool 8th quickest. 19 seconds off the pace. Black Widow's looking pretty good. 79 time trial, but a very weak prologue. And of course, this is mostly prologue. So, probably 75-ish. Wolverine. Wolverine looks pretty good. Okay. These two could put up decent times, +2s each. Of course, everybody on the team is on a fitness peak now. There was one rider who is not. They started it a couple days ago, so literally every single one of these riders should have had a +2 or +3. And I wasn't paying too much attention on the early riders, but I don't think everybody quite had the expected race day condition. Black Widow runs out just before the line, but manages it well. 43 seconds down. And Wolverine can push a little extra. Yeah, right before the line. 26, 37 seconds down. So overall, decent times for those three. But 39 for Pogacar isn't going to be enough for us to overcome that. So Ghana takes the stage ahead of Evenepoel. So Evenepoel is going to win the race as expected. Kwiatkowski, Milan, Craig Anderson, Kempenaerts, Dennis, Brenner. Deadpool squeezes into the top 10 in 9th. Bernal, 10th. And there's your overall. We do keep a podium spot with Wolverine. 3rd place. Black Widow stays 6th. Deadpool jumps back into the top 10, now 14th. And that's it for that race. That's it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. And bye for now.